It was a beautiful day in April. Another precious day in what we all knew as our everyday life. But that day never came.
In blood and fire, Norway pays the price of unpreparedness.
Everything changed that day.
Kom med.
Can he really afford to establish another front?
Whoever controls Norway controls the steel.
Those poor people.
Vi får dem ut av Sverige så fort som mulig.
Og hvordan tenker de så at de skal komme seg til Amerika?
I'm so grateful for everything you've done for us.
My dear, we need to find you your ruby slippers.
Franklin har bett att vi ska komma och bo i Vita huset.
Franklin?
Alla med ögon i huvudet får väl med sig att presidenten är förtjust i kronprinsessan.
You think I don't recognize that look in your eyes?
Are you jealous, Eleanor?
De må hjelpe oss. Amerikanerne. De har vårt eneste håp nå.
I give you assurance.
So you want to fight the Nazis, but at the same time, you're telling the American voters you won't.
It's politics, Martha.
This nation will remain a neutral nation.
Why don't you do something yourself?
I'm no leader, and certainly not a politician.
Yes, well, you're beginning to sound like one.
A few words from the Crown Princess of Norway.
I thank you all for giving us all hope that after this age of evil, the good side of humanity will prevail.
This is not about doing the right thing. It's about doing what is absolutely necessary.
Europe is on fire, Franklin. Help my country.
Well, that was sort of what drove me to want to participate. It was a story that I did not know and one that I thought the audience would love. Primarily because not only, I mean, the fact that it's set at a particular difficult time in world history, but also the way that Alex focused on the story of the people, the individuals. I really felt like I knew them. I knew their struggles and how they felt, and the pain and the joy was very much on the page. And as an actor, I think when you read something and you begin to see faces and experience emotions while you're just reading a blank page, it's a great indicator of quality of material and also the vision that the director has for how he wants to tell the story. And so I responded to that.
Maybe Sofia also, like your thoughts while reading the scripts for the very first time?
I didn't have any script when I said yes. I said yes many years before there was a script, because, or there was a little bit of a script, but I got, Alexander came to Stockholm to tell me the story, and I was captured at once. So, you know, there was no question about it. I wanted to do this lady. And then as the material developed, we had a lot of creative and good conversations, and very fun process of finding out how to make a story out of her life.
I thank you all for giving us all hope that after this age of evil, the good side of humanity will prevail.
Well, that was sort of what drove me to want to participate. It was a story that I did not know and one that I thought the audience would love. Primarily because not only, I mean, the fact that it's set at a particular difficult time in world history, but also the way that Alex focused on the story of the people, the individuals. I really felt like I knew them. I knew their struggles and how they felt, and the pain and the joy was very much on the page. And as an actor, I think when you read something and you begin to see faces and experience emotions while you're just reading a blank page, it's a great indicator of quality of material and also the vision that the director has for how he wants to tell the story. And so I responded to that. I knew very little about Roosevelt. And so part of the process for me, of course, was this discovery and research, learning about not only the man and who were his confidants, but also the tone of the world at that time when he came into power. And that was, we forget just how desperate that particular period of time in the world was, I think, or maybe we don't dwell upon it, we don't think about it much, but I think in the current situation, particularly with the virus, we've returned a little bit to something that is not only felt worldwide, but also with an unknown future. I mean, I think we are all hoping and figuring the vaccine is going to do work, but you know, it's something that's we don't know what's coming, you know, with this, and it's definitely a threat. And I think you could draw some parallels to that with the situation with World War II very easily. In terms of the political climate, I think Roosevelt represented everything that the administration, the outgoing administration, I say, was not. You know, he was very, he was a positive, powerful leader. He felt very intensely about caring for and taking care of people who were not well off. His awareness of the common man was, and their difficulties and struggles was, I think, one of the right at the forefront of his concerns. I think he also was working against the very thing that the outgoing administration was trying to create, which was this America first and almost a xenophobia of the rest of the world. And Roosevelt recognized that the United States needed to be in the world and be a world player. And he was fighting against the mood of the country at the time, which was very much resistant to that. Having World War I come through, and people were still affected by that, even decades later, and did not want to get involved or see a place for themselves in what was happening in Europe. And Roosevelt recognized that was just not the way forward. But it's a big job to convert, a country and make them have to step up, really put on their big boy pants and help out. And I think that it was just the opposite of what we've experienced for the past 4 years, that there is definitely a place and a presence that America needs to provide, and not to usurp, but to provide, to be there as a team player. So yeah, definitely made me think of those things.
Wasn't it when you were in the water? Wasn't that hard?
I actually enjoyed. I mean, it was challenging. It was physically challenging. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
The idea of not being able to use your legs in a swimming situation, and it was not a shallow pool, as I recall. And I'm supporting two girls were competing. That was, and I gave me a tremendous appreciation for the upper body strength of Roosevelt. The guy was very powerful, and yeah, that was a challenging one. That's good. Thanks, Sofia. I kept thinking of you. Must have been one of those night scenes in the woods with the snow and late and.
Yeah. It was very slippery. Yeah, and was late nights, and I thought. I mean, the children were. Yeah, they were. I was so impressed by them. Yeah, it was cold, but it's maybe not so interesting to hear about that. It was just cold and late.
It happens whenever I watch something and it's a night shoot, or it's raining and people are outside. I step out of the reality of the scene and I go like, oh my God, the actors, and how are they staying warm, and how long did that take? And I immediately think about the struggle,
Yeah.
The title song, I mean, I'm a fan of Susanne Sundfør, the artist, the singer-songwriter, and I think she's probably the best singer that has come out of Norway for decades. She has this otherworldly character to her voice that has always enthralled me. And when I listened to this song one day, just, you know, on my iPhone, I just, you know, listening to the text, I just realized how much the text would resonate with our story. So we contacted Susanne Sundfør to ask her if, you know, she would agree to let us use the song, and she did. Long story short, and I was just incredibly happy because I feel that, you know, her voice and the tonality of the song and the text, everything, the lyrics, they all come together and as a weird representation of, or an echo of, our story.
The most thrilling comment I heard about the series is this: a timely reminder that apoliticism doesn't work against fascism. That's kind of exactly what we want to say. And that was, I don't remember the paper, but that was a headline in one paper. Yeah, and then there have been great discussions in Norway, since this is the first time any woman from that period is portrayed. And in Norway, the war heroes have been men since forever, and they did great things, and they were fantastic during the Second World War to set Norway free. But it's time to tell the perspective of a woman, and that's, yeah, it's obviously, yeah, a bit provocative still, even if we're in Scandinavia.
You know, it was, I look forward to those scenes a great deal, just because I so enjoyed working with Sofia. And I knew that it was always going to be interesting and challenging and unexpected, and she would bring things to the scene that would be magnificent. And so those scenes were really fun to do. And I think we both approached them as you know, historical, obviously important, but really as people, and emotional motivations and experiences and variances and all the things that go into a well-written scene. And I think ultimately that's what takes over, is just the humanity of the moment and the humanness and the reality of that. And it was just as simple as that, I guess.
But isn't the case always, Kyle, as an actor, it's like every time you play with a new actor, it's like jumping out of a cliff. Either you click or you don't click, or you connect or you don't connect. But it was very fast. We connected fast, and we could. That was therefore very easy to play two characters meeting heart by heart, and that's also very fantastic with our jobs when this happens. Very grateful, Kyle.
I agree. I had a greater understanding of that era and of the character of Franklin Roosevelt and his relationships. So I got a little bit of a history lesson, which was a lot of fun, and put it in perspective with with our current situation. Made me yearn for the old days a little bit, and I just came away from the whole experience actually with just a feeling like we had created something worthwhile, and I had enjoyed the experience along the way. So all in, it was fantastic, I think, for me.
Thank you very much.
Can I just add something to that last question?
Of course.
Or would be perfect, yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, to me, working on the story, I think, you know, it was both very interesting and chilling to see how the pre-war era resonates with today. Seeing the return of the America First movement and isolationism and totalitarianism and so forth. And you know, I think it's very important that we learn from history, because we know very well how it ended, you know, last time at the end of the 30s, and hopefully we can learn from history and try to avoid ending up in a similar trajectory today. So yeah, that's what I got out of it.